Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm gonna actually review my friend Ryan McBeth's video today, and he's amazing. He's a veteran of the United States Army, and he, he's one smart gentleman. So let's go ahead and take a look, okay?
Why hasn't Iran struck back at Israel yet? Now, this is kind of interesting because Iran really is on a deadline here. Yeah, it's only going to take a finite amount of time to load rockets onto launchers or to load these rockets onto the TELs or transporter erector launchers. But for every day that Iran delays attacking Israel, that's another day that American carrier strike groups that are on their way to the Middle East have to cover that distance. So for
That is true. That is true. But also remember, those ships staying there day by day, they cost a lot of money. Let's go.
every day that Iran delays, it makes the consequences of actually launching worse. So I can think of two options here. The first option is that Iran
I
doesn't
disagree.
actually intend to strike anybody, or perhaps they're trying to get all their proxies in place to have their proxies actually perform some kind of strike against Israel. But there is one other thing, and some of this is kind of superstition. You know how people say celebrities always die in threes? Well, there's this holiday called Tisha B'Av, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but I'm sure a lot of my Israeli fans will let me know in the comments how wrong I am. But Tisha B'Av is basically the ninth of Av, and Av is a certain month in the Jewish calendar, or I guess the Hebrew calendar. And what's kind of interesting is that Tish B'Av it's a day when a lot of bad things happen. A number of disasters in Jewish history happened on that day. Supposedly the first temple was destroyed, so was the second temple. And there were other items throughout history, such as expulsions of Jews, that all happened on or around that particular day. That's kind of why I say it's kind of like the celebrity death thing, because something might happen close to Tish B'Av, and people are like, oh, well, it happened on Tish B'Av, when really it happened like 2 days earlier. But around that time seems to be the big thing. So the question is, would Iran actually wait for that day to launch some sort of attack?
And I don't think so. I think that Iran wants to prevent the mistake that they did last time. Is after after what Israel did, the retaliation was real quick. I mean, they're like, "Yep, we're gonna attack," and everybody knew they were gonna attack. They have all their ships posturing there in the Suez Canal, and they're just waiting because they know they have to fly through Iraq, over Syria, over Lebanon to get to Israel. So you have all this land there with all the Patriots, and you have all the Iron Dome and everything just waiting for them. NASAMS, whatever systems they have waiting, but there's a ton of them there. But there's also a bunch of American ships, carrier groups, all sorts of vertical launchers that are just waiting for them. The thing is, those cost a lot of money to keep them daily waiting for the missiles. Okay? So, last time when they launched, hundreds of Shahed drones and ballistic missiles, only 3 got through to Israel. Only 3. So 99.9% got shut down. Done. Billions of dollars worth of missiles gone. They had nothing to show for. A couple of holes at an airfield. Nothing was really destroyed. I think some people got hurt. Please forgive me. I don't remember exactly. But now I think they won't really care about the dates in a Jewish calendar or their own calendar, like close to Ramadan, past Ramadan. I think they really want to have the most obscure day, obscure time, and act of surprise. Because right now, everybody has a live view on Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Beirut, Tehran. They're all watching it on YouTube. They're like, we're waiting for the attacks. Where are the attacks? So this is the worst time to attack. Everybody's waiting for those missiles. Everybody has their finger on the launch buttons for the interceptors. But in 3, 5 months, those ships aren't going to be there. Not in the numbers there are now, because the longer it takes, the less funding there's going to be for them. I mean, in 3 months, everybody's going to be like, well, I guess Iran is smart. They're not going to attack. It's not worth it for them, so let's withdraw 50% of our forces within 3 months, 75% of our forces within 5 months. Let's say, just theoretically. I know that they will start withdrawing. They're not going to keep them forever. Patriots and all those land systems in Iraq, Syria, yeah, they can stay there. But the ships, there's no way. They have to be redirected. They have to move. They just cannot be parked there for months and months and months. And I think that's what they're waiting for, because even if 75% of those missiles get shut down, 25% will get through. Let's say that's just 50 missiles. Well, that's sure as heck is better than 3, you know? 50 ballistic missiles? Or let's say 10 ballistic missiles, the rest Shahed drones. It's going to do a lot of damage compared to what the big nothing that happened last time. And that's because they basically did what everybody was waiting for. Oh, they're going to attack, it's revenge. And I understand that in Muslim religion and in the Quran, and I guess it is they take having a guest very seriously. They have whoever is a guest in their home or their country, but in their home, they are responsible for your health, your safety, everything. Look at that American soldier that was kept, away from the Taliban inside the home of those Afghanis. They fought to keep him alive against the Taliban, or yeah, the Taliban. It was amazing. They died for him because he was their guest. Forgive me, I forget his name, it's but I'm pretty sure everyone knows what I'm talking about. Mark Wahlberg, I believe, played him, and it was just an amazing movie. But it's a true story, and the I guess the family that kept him alive, they're in America right now. The ones that survived, because they pretty much sacrificed themselves to keep this American soldier alive because he was their guest. Same thing here. They had that terrorist as a guest, and he got whacked, basically. Even though Israel's not taking credit for it, everybody and their mother knows that it was them. It's because nobody else would want him dead except Israel. So, do I think they will not do the revenge thing? I think they will do the revenge thing, but I think they're also being smarter and not trying to do the same thing they did last time and be insane. Don't do the same thing twice if you're gonna know what's gonna happen. If you know what's gonna fail, change it a little bit. And I think they're gonna wait. And what I think, it's either gonna be a insider terrorist attack. Heaven forbid it happens anywhere in Israel or in America or anywhere in the West or anywhere in the world, that they'll send in operatives and do something terrible. Or because that's a lot harder to fight than, say, a bunch of ballistic missiles and a bunch of Shahed drones. Those we can fight, to a point. But it's gonna be either one or two. That's the way I think about it. And if it's gonna be the drones and the ballistic missiles, I think they're just gonna look for the most unknown date, unknown time, away from all the calendar holidays and stuff like that, because they want to catch everybody off guard. They want all those Americans and all the coalition ships to go home, okay? Because they can't get rid of all the Patriots, NASAMS, and all the Iron Dome, but they can get most of the ships out of there in months. That's my opinion, my humble opinion. Let's get back to Ryan.
I think that the answer might actually be yes, because there might be some sort of psychological factor in executing a devastating attack on that particular day. However, I think if that day passes, and Tish B'Av, by the way, would technically be the 12th of August today. So I think if the 12th of August passes,
Today's
the
the 9th of
likelihood
August.
of Iran actually launching an attack will be a lot lower, because they sort of
Maybe he's from the
missed their
future.
window, and American carrier strike groups will just be too close, and it would just be too dangerous for them to do anything. And honestly, this would be the ideal outcome. Yes, Israel struck a high ranking non state actor inside of Iran, and that's very embarrassing. But do you know what else is embarrassing? Losing your entire freaking country. And let's not forget that in both Iran and in Israel, there's real people that are going to suffer the consequences of any kind of strikes. I have a lot of Israeli fans and I have a lot of Iranian fans. And the one thing they both have in common is they both don't like the government of Iran. So that's kind of the situation. I just thought of that Tish B'Av thing, or Tish B'Av, and I wanted to mention that if Iran doesn't strike by the 12th, I don't know if they actually will. I am still in Las Vegas right now. I'm probably going to make some content with Jake Bro in a couple of hours. We're going to go to lunch and do some stuff. As of right now, Ukrainian forces are 40 kilometers inside of Russia right now.
That is amazing. I just want to make a quick comment on that. Nobody expected this. America and Europe were not told about this, and I think that is great because there's a lot of spies in everywhere, and Ukraine kept it close to the vest, and it caught Russia completely off guard. They have so many companies that surrendered to them already. I think they have like 8 battalions. Going, attacking Russian territory, and they have all of these surrendered Russian conscripts because only conscripts are guarding borders. They're not contract soldiers. So these guys only have 2 months training at the most. So they're just giving up or just dying like flies. They're dropping, and in Ukraine, they actually want them alive because they can exchange them for valid Ukrainian families and prisoners of war. It's something that they can use because conscripts are worth a lot more to Russians than contract soldiers because contract soldiers actually chose to go ahead and fight, get the money. So people don't really care about them as much as conscripts because conscripts were forced to be there and they don't want their families to be sent in a body bag because Ukraine invaded Russia, which Putin said would never happen. So, and I think their goal right now, I wasn't sure and I didn't really think this, but I think it might be the nuclear power plant. And the reason being is if they get the power plant, it will be a big bargaining chip in any peace talks, or they can trade it for the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant in the Oblast. Because if they turn this power plant off, Ukraine just turns it off. It's not only the homes that are going to be without power, okay? It's going to be the steel industry that's not going to have power, mining industry that's going to be without power, agricultural industry that's going to be without power, huge sectors that are going to be without power, not just homes. Putin doesn't care about homes. All the oil industry, nothing will have power. And people cannot go back to pickaxes and carbide hats. Okay? It's not going to happen. Everything is automated. And that's what most of the power is going to. Not just homes. He doesn't care about people. But he wants all those factories, all those mining, all those refineries, everything going because that's how he makes his money. And that plant shuts down? Yeah. So it's a huge bargaining chip if Ukraine gets a hold of that plant. Because look, Russia's controlling a Ukrainian nuclear power plant. So they basically just shut down all the money making for Ukraine in that area. So I guess they're just doing a tit for tat and seeing if they can do it. With 8 battalions, it's gonna be pretty rough. My estimate, I think they would need at least 70,000 soldiers, which they don't even have, even close. But right now, they're not facing any resistance. All the tanks and all the heavy equipment is in Ukraine already down south. So if you look at what Russia is sending, they're sending T-64s and a lot of those little vans, those old carrying vans, to carry supplies from like the 60s and 70s. because they're out of equipment up there. Everything is actually fighting in Ukraine. So if they can do the little blitz to get that nuclear power plant before the Russian reinforcements come, they'll have one heck of a bargaining chip. Because look, United States and Europe, they're not saying anything. They're not saying don't do it. Even though Ukraine is using strikers, I've seen like 5 strikers on Russian soil, and a lot of those German, forgive me, what are it called, martyrs or something. They're just like they're more battlefield taxis, just like just like the M113 or the Bradley. But I haven't seen any Bradleys or Abrams. But I did see strikers. So yeah, they're using equipment. I've seen Ukrainian jets. I can't say I've seen an F-16, but I've seen some of their Su-35s. Just flying everywhere, and yeah. So, and some of those pictures are brutal. I mean, they're wiping out complete columns of troops inside of their trucks. I mean, I've seen those on Telegram. They're pretty brutal. So, yeah, go Ukraine. It's amazing what they're doing, and Putin is not happy. But what can you do? Like Jake Bro said, the only reason he's still alive is because he has not used a nuclear weapon. If he uses a nuclear weapon anywhere, in Ukrainian soil or even on Russian soil, if he uses a nuclear weapon anywhere, the West will no longer see him as a safe actor. He will be a reckless actor, and he will better find a bunker for the rest of his life, his favorite bunker, and stay there. Because if he ever leaves, there's going to be a Hellfire missile waiting for him. Yep. So, sorry, I talked too much, but let's get back to Ryan.
Moving toward what either might be Kursk or a little to the left of Kursk, and now I think they're up to 8 brigades. So that is it seems like every time I go away, something happens. But hopefully I'll be back home by Tish B'Av. So inshallah, nothing will happen. Thank you guys so much for watching.
And thank you, Ryan, for being awesome. He's one of my favorite. Him, Jake Bro, Brandon Mitchell, Preston Stewart, Dennis Davidov, Arthur Rehi. All these guys are pro-Ukraine, and they're the ones that are speaking the truth. They're trying to fight the Russian media monitor because the Russian propaganda is insane. So, but thank you for watching my humble review of Ryan's excellent video. And P.S. This is my first video ever. So, God bless everybody. Have a wonderful night, and please be safe. And Slava Ukraini.
Me, Captain Bannon of the documentary Team Yankee. When I'm not kicking commie butts, I'm wearing t-shirts from Ryan McBeth, available at Bunker Brandon.